Okay, today's recipe is Tony's super healthy, high protein, super low fat banana crepes. I like crepes, I like pancakes. Unfortunately, usually crepes and pancakes are like really high in fat and a lot of carbs too. So I've figured out a way to make these things a little healthier. Each one of these crepes has 14 grams of protein, less than 1 gram of fat, and about 6.5 grams of carbs. You can eat them plain like this. You can just take them and roll them up and stick them in a bag and take them to work with you. That's one way to eat them. Or if you want to feel a little more decadent, you can take fruit and wrap fruit in them. Of course, that's going to add a little bit to your carbs. What I like to do is take some of the chocolate pudding that we made with the avocados. This also is high in protein, low in carb, very low in carb, good fats from the avocado, and you can take and put that in your crepe, kind of like an eclair crepe. And you can roll it up. And there you go. Now we've probably just taken this crepe and put it much closer to 20 grams of protein. Only raise the carbohydrate content just a little bit, and whatever fats we added are very healthy. So, see how that tastes. That's pretty good. Now, if you wanted to, you could also just roll these up and maybe drizzle some honey on top of them, or some agave nectar, some real light, some kind of a whipped topping. There's ways to make whipped topping. We'll cover those shortly. But it's a really healthy snack. It's a great breakfast. After your workout, it's a good way to get some quick protein. If you need to run, you can stick a bunch of these in a baggie, take them with you. They'll last all day in a cooler. And it's just another take on taking regular foods and making them a little healthier. Anyway, I'm going to sit here and keep eating, but why don't we show you how to make these things? It's really easy. Anyway, we'll be back in just a little while. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble our batter. Now, there's not a lot of ingredients to this. We're going to start off with 1/2 cup of regular plain old oats, and you can see that they're kind of coarse. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put these in the blender by themselves, and we're going to kind of pulse them a little bit to kind of break them up. There we go. Now we've got some finer powder in there. So what we'll do is we'll get and pour that back out. And as you can see, it's gotten a lot finer than what it was. And that will go a long way to helping everything hold together nicely. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our wetter ingredients in first. We're going to start off with 8 egg whites, okay? And if you're not using, I use real eggs, but if you're not into separating eggs and doing all the work, you can get egg beaters, just the egg whites, and it equates to about 1 cup. So either 1 cup of egg beater egg whites, or 8 large eggs. Just separate them and use the albumin, the whites. Okay, then from there, we're going to add in 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. Okay, just plain old Greek yogurt. Put it right on in there. Okay. Then from there, we're going to add in our oats. And we're going to use 1/2 cup of, and I'm using this, it's just a whey protein. Okay, it's this is a banana cream. But pretty much you can use any protein powder that you want. And on top of that, to give it a little more flavor, we're going to use a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and we'll use some vanilla extract. I'll use a full teaspoon of this in there. Okay, then we're going to put the top on there. And it's going to make a pretty watery, soupy batter. You don't want, for crepes, you don't want a thick batter. So we're just going to get and scrape the sides a little bit. And there you go, that's your batter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take this and put this in the refrigerator for a little while until I'm ready to start cooking. So I'll be with you in just a second. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to use, and I use a regular crepe pan, but you can use any kind of flat skillet. And we're going to turn the heat on, and we want to get the skillet pretty warm at first, because these things cook very, very quickly. The trick to these is being able to flip them. So the trick that we use is Pam. I use the olive oil Pam. You know, it's fat-free, it's easy to clean up, and it does make it easier to flip these things. I'm using a new spatula today, by the way, so we'll see how well this goes with this spatula. Anyway, so you want to let it get hot. I've got an electric stove, so it gets hot pretty quick. And I actually let the skillet get hot first before I spray it. Some people think that's a fire hazard. I haven't had any issues with it yet, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let it get good and hot. And you'll vary your heat a little bit also as you cook these things. You know, if it gets too hot and it starts bubbling too quickly, you can turn the heat down. Sometimes you have to play around with it just a little bit. Okay, that's feeling like it's getting pretty warm. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it down to about just around medium heat. We're going to shake up the pan, and we're going to give it a nice little coating. All right, put that on there. And we've got our batter. We're going to pour our batter on there and real quickly get it to spread out. And what we're looking for is we're looking for the edges to dry out just a little bit. And we're looking for some bubbles in the middle. So it doesn't usually take too long. The first one is usually the hardest to flip. Once the first one's done, the pan kind of eases up a little bit with you and makes it a little bit easier. As you can see, it's getting a little movement there all on its own. That pan really works well. So we're gonna just let it get a little hotter. And that may be a little thick for the first crepe, but we'll see how it does here in just a second. We're gonna get up underneath it and give it a quick flip. And there we go. That wasn't too much of a mess. Keep it moving. And once they're moving freely, they're pretty much done. We'll go ahead and slap that one there. Okay, we'll do another one. Get it on there. Get it moving around. And if you're making a bunch of them, this will make about 6 to 7 crepes. Usually after about 3 or so, I tend to give it another little spritz with the pan, just so that we don't get bound up with it. So you can see this one's breaking loose much quicker. Okay, we're getting the bubbles in the center just like we wanted. So we're going to give it a grab, give it a flip. And again, it's the more you make them, the easier they are to do. And that's all there is to making them. So now we should probably go eat some, right? That sounds like a good idea. Oh, you're back? Anyway, that's how we make crepes. Again, super easy recipe. Very tasty, very healthy, nothing to feel guilty about. Quick preparation, easy on the stove. So, there you go. High protein banana crepes with chocolate pudding filling. You stay fit forever. Thanks.